The more salt you consume, the longer your life will be. The study, including data from 181 countries, gave the answer. Father, if you have high blood pressure, stop eating salted fish. Salty is bad for your health. Xiao Mo returned home to find the table full of junk food. His elderly father was diagnosed with hypertension last month. The doctor asked me to follow a diet low in salt, fat and sugar. Nothing will happen if I eat a little. Lately my blood pressure has been stable. Besides, I also heard that eating salty prolongs life. The old man did not take Xiao Mo's words seriously and even denied them. After that, he said that he had recently heard on a television program about the results of a study that included data from 181 countries. According to observations, people who eat salty foods live longer. Experts also advised not to eat too bland food. In the course of his story, the father mixed rice with tofu. There are also many statements on the internet that the more salty you eat, the healthier you will be. Is that really true? Let's figure it out. Why do high-salt foods taste better? In fact, salt itself helps to regulate the water balance in the human body. In addition, sodium ions maintain the osmotic pressure of the extracellular fluid and are involved in the formation of gastric acid, thereby facilitating the secretion of digestive fluids. In other words, salt naturally stimulates the appetite. At the same time, during cooking, salt reacts with vegetables and meat, improving the taste of the dish. For example, when pickling cucumbers, radishes, and other vegetables, salt is added in order to increase the crunchiness of foods due to dehydration and enhance their taste. When processing some types of fish, meat, and other products, the amino acids contained in them are neutralized under the action of salt, which eliminates the sour smell and emphasizes the taste of food. Moreover, salt absorbs water. Adding a small amount of salt when processing foods such as beef helps absorb a lot of liquid, making the meat more tender, smooth, and delicious. So there are two reasons why foods high in salt seem to taste better. Firstly, salt promotes the release of digestive fluids and stimulates appetite, and secondly, it reacts with certain substances in foods, improving their taste. The more salt you consume, the longer your life will be. I ate more salt than you. This phrase is often said by representatives of the older generation when educating young people. Although this is a joke, it is not an exaggeration to say that the Chinese lead the world in salt consumption. According to statistics, the average citizen of our country eats more than 10 grams of salt per day, which is more than twice the recommended intake of this substance. A pooled epidemiological study found that a daily intake of more than 5 grams of sodium is associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. The study cited by Xiao Mo's father in defense of the claim, people who eat salty foods live longer, does indeed exist. It was published in the European Heart Journal and included data on sodium intake, life expectancy and mortality collected in 181 countries around the world. In their analysis, the researchers found that for every gram of increase in average sodium intake per day, life expectancy from birth increased by 2.6 years, and active life expectancy at age 60 increased by 0.3 years. But this does not mean that the more salt you eat, the longer you will live. In the end, this study is observational and cannot be used as evidence for the health benefits of salt. In addition, according to recent work from the Harvard University School of Public Health, the more salt in the diet, the higher the risk of premature death from all causes and the shorter life expectancy. Scientists conducted a questionnaire survey on the frequency of adding salt to food, which was attended by more than 500,000 people aged 40 to 69 years, who were under observation for 9 years. As a result of the analysis, it was found that an increased frequency of adding salt to food increases the risk of premature death from all causes. On the contrary, if you do not add excess salt to dishes, this will reduce the harm of the substance to the body and also helps to normalize blood pressure. Excessive salt consumption leads to many diseases. Many people prefer foods that are rich in flavor, but in fact, eating too much salt is unhealthy. In the long run, this can also provoke the development of many diseases. Hypertension. Excessive salt intake contributes to high blood pressure, which is a common factor in increasing the risk of developing hypertension. Kidney disease. 95% of salt is absorbed by the kidneys. With excessive consumption of this substance, the load on the organ increases, and various kidney diseases can occur. Stomach cancer. The intake of a large amount of salt in the body can lead to damage to the gastric mucosa, cause atrophy of the cells of the stomach walls, and even provoke diseases or stomach cancer. Osteoporosis. According to studies, salt intake affects the excretion of calcium. The more salt enters the body, the more calcium is excreted in the urine, the worse the absorption of calcium will be, and the more the person will be prone to osteoporosis. Why does the sodium content in the body still exceed the norm with daily consumption of fresh food? Salt consumed as part of ordinary meals, as a rule, does not cause much harm to the body. However, many foods contain hidden salt, which is indeed a health hazard. This issue is often ignored. What is hidden salt? Simply put, this salt is found in unsalted or even bland-tasting foods that are actually high in sodium. For example, we all love spicy sticks. It may seem to you that they have only a sharp taste, but the sodium content in them is stunning. There are up to 2,000 milligrams of sodium per 100 grams of the product. This means that if you eat 100 grams of spicy sticks, you will exceed your daily sodium intake by 107%. Another example is ketchup. Many people consider it sour or sweet, but its sodium content should not be underestimated, which is equal to 921 milligrams per 100 grams of the product. So, when using 100 grams of ketchup, the daily salt intake will be exceeded by 46%. In addition, some common foods contain incredible amounts of hidden salt, including sausage, seasoned eggs, instant noodles, pickles, potato chips, dried squid, jerky, soy meat balls, and so on. These foods mislead you into unknowingly consuming too much salt, and thus harming your health. Therefore, it is important to be vigilant. When buying, you need to pay attention to the composition of the product and limit the consumption of foods high in salt. In China, many people are accustomed to eating foods that are rich in taste and high in salt, but excessive amounts of this substance increase the likelihood of developing hypertension, kidney disease, stomach cancer, and other diseases. In this regard, it is recommended to try low-sodium salt and learn to build the right relationship with salty foods.